I never thought I'd end up in a situation like this, honestly. I always believed I had a good, stable marriage with Emily. We got married about 5 years ago, and at first everything seemed perfect. She was ambitious, beautiful, and confident, always knew what she wanted. I was just a regular guy, working a decent job, trying to build a life. We had our routines, our weekends, our little routines. But somewhere along the line, I started noticing little things that didn't sit right. It started with small signs. Her phone being constantly glued to her hand when she thought I wasn't looking, late nights at work that seemed longer than usual, her dismissive attitude when I asked about her day. I brushed it off at first, thinking maybe she was stressed or just busy. But then, the little inconsistencies turned into outright lies. I'd ask her what she did after work, and she'd say she stayed late for a project. The next day, I'd find out she was out with her friends or doing something entirely different. A couple of months ago, I caught her in a lie about a dinner date she supposedly had with her boss, Mark. She'd been acting weird the week before, avoiding eye contact, snapping when I asked questions. Then she left early that evening, claiming she was going to meet some colleagues. I remember feeling uneasy, but I didn't push. I thought maybe I was just overthinking it. That's when I started to snoop. Not in a creepy way, but enough to keep an eye on her to see if I could catch her in something. It wasn't just suspicion anymore. It was an instinct, a gut feeling that something was seriously wrong. I didn't want to believe Emily was capable of cheating. I mean, she always told me she loved me, that I was the only one for her. But her actions lately, they paint a different picture. Then, everything changed during that family vacation last month. We went to the beach house with my parents, trying to get a little escape from the chaos of everyday life. It was supposed to be relaxing, but I couldn't shake the feeling that Emily was hiding something. She was unusually tense, constantly checking her phone, and when I tried to talk to her, she snapped or brushed me off. I caught her texting late at night, her fingers flying across the screen with a kind of desperation I'd never seen before. One night, I decided to go through her phone. My heart was pounding, but I convinced myself it was just a hunch, a weird feeling I couldn't shake. I found her messages with Mark, her boss. They weren't just friendly work banter. They were intimate, loaded with flirtations and secret plans. I saw her talking about their little secret and how she couldn't wait to see him again. My stomach dropped. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut, like I'd been hit with a realization that everything I believed in was a lie. That's how I found out she'd been cheating on me for months, maybe longer. She was pregnant now, too. I don't even know how I kept my composure when I saw that message, just the fact that she lied so convincingly and I'd been blind to it for so long. That's how everything exploded. I confronted her the next morning. I needed answers. When I finally confronted Emily about what I found, I expected her to deny it, to lie her ass off and make some excuse about how I misunderstood, or how it was all just a mistake, but she didn't deny it right away. Instead, she looked at me with those cold, bitchy eyes and said, "You're overreacting, you're crazy, it's none of your business." That was her go-to answer whenever she was caught or cornered. She always thought she could slide out of things with that attitude. I was furious but trying to stay calm. I threw the phone on the table and told her I saw her messages. Her reaction. She scoffed, rolled her eyes, and started some bullshit about how I was paranoid, how Mark was just a friend, and that I was making a huge deal out of nothing. She told me I was insecure, that I didn't trust her, and that I was imagining things. Honestly, I've never seen someone lie so convincingly. It was like she had rehearsed it. She even had the nerve to call me jealous and possessive, like I was the crazy one for acting like a husband who caught his wife cheating. That night was a blur. I felt every emotion, shock, betrayal, anger, sadness, all at once. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. I kept staring at those messages, trying to process what I just learned. How long had she been doing this? Was I just a placeholder? Did she ever really love me? The worst part was the pregnancy. She told me she was pregnant when she thought I'd never find out. She said it was Mark and she was going to keep it. That moment, everything shattered inside me. I felt numb but also a hot, uncontrollable rage. I didn't sleep that night. When morning came, I knew I had to do something. I wasn't going to let her lie her way out of this again. I decided I'd confront her face to face, get some real answers, and figure out what the hell I was going to do about all this. I called her out of bed, told her I knew everything and I wanted to talk. Her reaction? She started crying, fake tears rolling down her cheeks, trying to act innocent. Said she was sorry, that she loved me, that it was just some stupid mistake. I could see right through her. She kept saying she was sorry, that she was confused, and that she didn't mean for it to happen. But I wasn't buying any of it. I asked her why she hid everything, why she lied for so long, and she just shrugged like I was bothering her. That's when she threw in that she didn't want to lose the baby, that Mark was the only one who could give her a good life, that I didn't understand her ambitions. Yeah, right. She's a bitch with a mouth that never stops, always spinning some story to save her own ass. It was so typical of her, lying, manipulating, thinking she can get away with it because she's smarter. But I'd had enough. That morning I felt like my world was crumbling. I was furious, yes, but also devastated. It was like someone had taken a knife and twisted it deep inside. I kept asking myself how I missed all the signs, how I didn't see what was right in front of me. I looked at her, this woman I loved and trusted, and realized I didn't even know her anymore. How could she do this? How could she lie so blatantly and then act like I was the crazy one for suspecting her? I honestly don't know how I didn't scream or break down right then and there. All I knew was I had to get out of that room, out of that house, and figure out what the hell to do next. After that explosive confrontation, I felt like I was in some kind of daze. Part of me wanted to believe she'd change, that maybe I was overreacting, that this was all a huge mistake. But deep down, I knew better. She lied too many times, and her eyes, those damn eyes, told me she was still hiding something. I couldn't just pretend everything was okay, not after discovering her affair and her pregnancy with Mark. It felt like my entire world had been ripped apart in a single moment. I decided I needed space to think. I packed a bag, told her I was leaving for a while and went to stay with my brother for a few days. I needed to breathe, to get clarity. I spent those days pacing around, pounding my fists into walls, trying to figure out what I was going to do. I was angry at her, sure, but mostly I was heartbroken. I loved her, or at least I thought I did. Now I wasn't so sure what love even meant anymore. While I was gone, I kept going over everything I knew. The messages, her lies, the pregnancy. I couldn't get that image out of my head, her telling me she was pregnant with Mark's child and me sitting there like a fool, clueless. I wondered how long she'd been planning this. Was she always planning to keep Mark's baby? Was I just some guy she married because she thought it would look good, or because she genuinely loved me? The more I thought about it, the more I realized I'd been a pawn in her game. She used me, lied to me, and kept me in the dark until she was damn good and ready to drop the bomb. One thing I knew for sure was that I wasn't going to stay quiet. I needed to get some answers from her, face her again, and know exactly what her plan was. When I returned home, she was acting even more bitchy than usual, snapping at me, throwing attitude, acting like I was the one who did something wrong. It was her typical defense mechanism. Try to make me feel guilty, turn the tables, and pretend she's the victim, but I wasn't falling for it anymore. I was done being manipulated. I sat her down again, this time more cold and calculated. I told her I knew everything, about the affair, the pregnancy, the lies. Her face twisted into a sneer and she spat, "You're crazy. You think I'm just gonna sit here and listen to your bullshit?" That's when she started throwing words like, "Not all women cheat. I'm pregnant and you're just supposed to accept it. And Mark is the one who truly loves me." That's when I saw her for what she was, selfish, manipulative, and entitled. She believed she could get away with anything because she's special or some spoiled bitch. The worst part, she kept insisting that she was doing this all for her future, for the baby, that I was just jealous, that I was insecure. But I was. I knew what I saw and I knew what her words meant. She was sleeping with her boss, lying to me about it, and now she was pregnant with his child. That's an unforgivable betrayal. I felt everything, anger, disgust, sadness, collide inside me. And yet I couldn't just lose my mind over it. I had to stay strong for myself, for what little dignity I had left. That night I didn't sleep. I kept staring at the ceiling, replaying everything she said, everything I saw. Her smile when she got the job promotion, her dismissive attitude when I asked about her late nights, the way she avoided my gaze when I brought up her phone. How could I have missed all of it? How could I have been so blind? It's like she was living a double life, and I was just some guy she married to keep up appearances. The more I thought about her lies, her ace in the hole pregnancy, the more I realized I'd been played. I trusted her, yes, but I also knew I wasn't going to be anyone's fool anymore. I wasn't sure what was worse, knowing she had cheated, or knowing she'd kept it hidden for so long, lying about everything. I kept asking myself, can I forgive her? Should I try to fix this? Or is it over? The truth was, I didn't have an answer yet. All I knew was that I wasn't going to let her manipulate me anymore, and I was going to find out exactly what Mark's involvement was and what this all meant for the future. In the days that followed, everything felt like a blur. I was stuck between rage, heartbreak, and a strange numbness. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat properly. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her messages, her sneering face, the way she lied so effortlessly. I kept replaying that moment of discovery, trying to figure out what I missed, how I'd been so blind. It was like being punched in the stomach over and over again. I also knew that I couldn't let her get away with it, not without some kind of reckoning. I had to know more about Mark, about the pregnancy, about how deep this betrayal went. I decided I needed to get some evidence, some proof that would actually make her realize I wasn't going to be manipulated anymore. I started digging through her stuff more carefully, her emails, her social media, even her bank statements. I wanted undeniable proof that she had been lying, that she'd been sneaking around with her boss. It was sickening, really. The way she'd hidden it, the lies she'd told, trying to convince me she was innocent, but I found what I was looking for. More messages, flirtatious, intimate, detailed plans about meeting up, about their secret affair. She'd been telling Mark she loved him, that she couldn't wait to be with him forever, and that she was pregnant with his child. Seeing those messages confirmed everything. It wasn't just a fling, she was in love with him, and she had been for some time. That's when I realized that the Emily I married was long gone. The woman I thought I knew was just a mask she'd worn, hiding her true self. I also found out that the pregnancy wasn't just a surprise. She'd known about it for weeks, maybe months. She kept it from me, lying all the while, pretending everything was fine. That was a punch to the gut I wasn't sure I could recover from. Now, I knew I had to confront her again, but this time with concrete evidence. I was done playing her game. I set up a time to meet her face to face with everything laid out. I wanted her to see I wasn't stupid, that I knew the truth and I wasn't going to be played anymore. When I got home that evening, I called her into the living room. Her face was already starting to get that defensive sneer, like she knew she was about to be caught in something even worse. I laid everything out, her messages, the proof of her affair, the pregnancy confirmation. I watched her eyes widen for a second, then turn into a steely glare. She tried to deny it at first, her voice trembling with fake innocence, but I cut her off. Told her I had everything, every message, every detail. That she could lie all she wanted, but it wouldn't change the truth. Her reaction. She looked at me, furious and smug at the same time, and spat, "You're just jealous. You're insecure. You're imagining things. Mark loves me and he's going to take care of us." She kept saying that like a broken record, that she was doing this for her future, for her baby. But I saw right through her. Her eye makeup was smudged, her voice was shaky, and she was sweating profusely. She was trying to act confident, but I knew she was cornered. I felt a mixture of disgust and contempt. That's when I realized I had to make a choice. I could break down, beg her to come back, or I could stand firm and do what I knew was right. Honestly, I was ready to walk away right then, to close that chapter of my life and forget about her forever. But I also knew that she needed to face the consequences of her actions. I told her that I was done, that I couldn't stay married to a woman who lied to me so blatantly, who cheated, and who was carrying another man's child. I told her I was leaving, and I meant it. The worst part was how she reacted. She started crying full-blown sobs, trying to guilt-trip me, saying I was abandoning her and the baby. She called me a monster, said I was cruel for ending things now, but I didn't care. I was tired of her lies, her bullshit, her pretending to be the victim. I wasn't going to be her patsy anymore. I packed my things, left that house, and told her to never contact me again. That was the breaking point. I knew I'd never be able to trust her again, and honestly, I didn't want to. The betrayal cut too deep. Now I'm trying to piece my life back together. I get angry sometimes, still think about her, about what could have been. But I also feel a strange sense of relief, like I finally took control. I learned that trust is fragile, and once broken, it's almost impossible to repair. If I could give any advice, it would be to pay attention to the little things, because the truth has a way of coming out eventually. And don't be afraid to walk away from a lie, no matter how much you loved someone. Sometimes you just have to save yourself. It's been a few weeks since I left her, and honestly, it's been the hardest thing I've ever done. I still wake up sometimes feeling like I'm in a nightmare, expecting her to walk through the door and tell me it's all a mistake. But she's not coming back. I keep telling myself that over and over. The house feels empty now, quieter than it's ever been, and every little thing in it reminds me of her. The way her perfume used to linger, her voice on the answering machine, her favorite coffee mug still sitting on the counter. I've been seeing a counselor, trying to process everything. It's hard to accept that the person I loved, the woman I thought I knew, was capable of betraying me so badly. And it's even harder to deal with the fact that I was blind to it for so long. I keep asking myself how I missed the signs, how I didn't see her true nature behind her bitchy comments and fake smiles. I guess the truth is, I was comfortable, and I wanted to believe in her so badly that I ignored all the red flags. What's worse is the way she's been acting ever since I left. She's trying to reach out, sending fake apologies, acting like she's the victim, trying to guilt me into taking her back. She's been saying she was confused, that she didn't mean for any of it, and that she regrets everything. Honestly, I don't buy a word of it. She's good at lying, and she's been lying to herself just as much as she lied to me. She's trying to manipulate me again, but I refuse to fall for it. I've learned my lesson the hard way. I also found out that she's already started seeing Mark again. She told me she done with him, but I don't believe a word of that either. I've seen the messages, heard the whispers. It's obvious they're still involved, probably planning something for the future. That realization hurt more than anything. Knowing she's already moved on, that she's racing towards some new life with him, just confirms that I made the right choice to walk away. I don't want to be part of her mess anymore. But here's the thing, despite all the pain, I've started to regain some sense of myself. I've been working out, reconnecting with friends, and trying to rebuild my confidence. I realize I was more than just her husband. I was a person who deserved honesty and respect. I've learned that no matter how much you love someone, if they cheat and lie and betray, it's better to cut ties than to stay and suffer in silence. No one should accept that kind of treatment. I've also been reflecting a lot on what this whole experience has taught me. Trust is fragile, and you have to guard it carefully. When it's broken, it's hard to repair, and sometimes it's better to let go than to hold on to something that's fundamentally gone wrong. I used to think love could conquer all, but now I know that love also means knowing when to walk away and protect yourself. I'm not bitter, well, maybe a little, but mostly I'm grateful I found out the truth before things got even worse. So, I guess I want to tell anyone reading this, pay attention to the signs, listen to your instincts, and don't be afraid to walk away if you're being lied to or cheated on. Some betrayals are irreparable, and you're better off starting over than wasting time trying to fix something that's already broken beyond repair. I'm still healing, still figuring out what's next, but I'm definitely moving forward. And honestly, that feels a little better than staying stuck in the past. Looking back now, I realize how much this whole ordeal changed me. At first, I was just an average guy caught in a nightmare, feeling betrayed, humiliated, and completely lost. But over time, I've started to rebuild my sense of self. I've come to understand that the worst betrayals teach you some of the most important lessons about trust, about boundaries, and about what you truly deserve in life. I won't lie, it's been a brutal journey. There are days when I still get angry, days when I wonder if I could have done something differently if I missed the signs. But most days, I feel a strange sense of relief. I'm finally free from her manipulation, from her lies. I no longer carry her betrayal like a heavy weight on my shoulders. Instead, I see it as a painful but necessary lesson. Never ignore the signs, never settle for less than honesty, and always prioritize your own happiness. This experience has also taught me that sometimes love isn't enough. You can love someone with all your heart, but if they're dishonest or unfaithful, that love becomes a prison. It's better to walk away than to stay in a relationship built on lies. I've learned to value myself more, my feelings, my boundaries, my future. I know now that I don't need someone who lies and cheats to feel validated. I deserve someone who respects me, who's honest, who treats me with the same love and loyalty I give. What I want to tell anyone reading this is simple. Trust your instincts. Pay attention when things don't feel right. If you find evidence of cheating or lies, don't ignore it, face it. Because if you don't, you might end up staying in a nightmare that only gets worse. And don't be afraid of walking away. The pain might hurt in the short term, but in the long run, it's the only way to save yourself. Finally, I want to say that I'm grateful this happened to me, weird as that sounds. It forced me to look at myself honestly and to realize that I'm stronger than I thought. I can survive betrayal, heartbreak, and loss. More than that, I can come out the other side with a clearer mind and a better sense of what I want from life. I don't regret any of it because it's made me into someone who's more aware, more resilient, and more determined to find happiness on my own terms. So here I am now, writing this out as my final reflection. I don't know what the future holds, but I do know that I'm done with her, done with the lies, and done pretending everything is okay. I'm moving forward one step at a time, and I'm finally ready to find a version of happiness that's honest, real, and mine. And that's what truly matters.